Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by again and checking this video out. Really do appreciate it. Last week I did a kind of on the spur of the moment type of thing with doing a tutorial on Circumstances by Rush. And I was kind of just going through some CDs and some songs. I ended up listening to Clockwork Angels cover to cover and just realized, just how great of an album that was and how much I enjoyed this particular song, The Garden, on it. It's hard to believe that it's been 8 years since this album actually come out, 7 years since the tour. So, time really does fly by, and this is just my opinion. I'm just going to give you my opinion on this, and I'm sure we can all debate this back and forth, over and over again. We all have a top 5 list of Rush albums, right? And odds are Moving Pictures and 2112 are in that mix. I've always put Hemispheres in that mix. And I'll be honest, I put Clockwork Angels in the top 5 for me as well. And rounding it out, which probably isn't the most popular choices, I also put Roll the Bones in there. For some reason, I guess the timing when it was released, that whole thing, that's always been one of my favorite albums. But, Clockwork Angels and that album, I might even put it as a top 3 right behind Moving Pictures and 2112. In my opinion, that's all it is. And I always said that when this album had come out, and you listen to it cover to cover, and when it closed with The Garden, not knowing what would happen in this year, 2020, with Neil Peart passing, but I always said that, man, if they ever decided to hang it up, after this album, tying it all together, putting a nice bow on the package with The Garden was just a great way to do it. So certainly is a favorite of mine. I think there's a lot of cool guitar things happening in the song. Again, spur of the moment, I was kind of going over a few things. There's some certain parts here. I'm not sure if I'll even do the solo, but I'll see how I feel at the end of this video. I don't know it completely, but I kind of know some of the key notes that you should play. The song is basically the key of F for the most part. Some easy progressions, but sometimes some things to get your fingers working a little bit, as far as some overtime on the fingers. But let's give it a shot, see how it sounds. I'm just kind of winging this one again. No notes really. If it sounds great. If not, it is what it is. But I think it'll give you a roadmap to the song itself and just how to go about playing some of the key pieces to it. So again, the song is in the key of F, and we'll just kind of jump right into this. I'm not going to go into any major close-ups right now. And I'm playing through a Boss Katana, so I'm going to just kind of play with the tones, and then when I do the description, as far as in the description itself, I'll let you know kind of what I was doing. But it's pretty straightforward. Right now, I'm using just the if you have a Katana, I'm using just the acoustic setting for the intro, and I've got some reverb and chorus on it. I don't know if there's that much that's actually used on the album, but it just kind of gives it some flavor for the purposes we're doing right now. So it starts off on the F. Okay, so that's the strumming pattern for the most part. You're going to stay in this position for mostly the entire, I guess it's the verse basically. And then what you're going to do next is you're going to just take your pinky finger off of this bar chord F that you're playing, and you're just going to move it from the 4th string to the 3rd string. Everything else is going to stay where it is. And then we switch it. Right? So all we're doing is just moving one finger right now. And then the next piece of the progression, it's going to be the same type of move, but instead of using your pinky finger, you're going to just take your ring finger and move that down one string. So it's a B suspended too. So it's move it there, B flat, back into the F. And that's pretty much the progression for the verse for the most part. So it doesn't really change up a whole lot at that point. Go to that B flat suspended, and then just back to the F. When it goes into the chorus, things get a little more interesting in terms of just there's two different really, I guess there's two different guitar parts that I hear, and the one, they're all following the same 4 notes basically. Your G, a B flat, to a C, to an E flat. 2 things are going on here. The chord progression. It's a G minor, moving it to a B flat, C minor, E flat. So it should sound like this. And that just repeats for the most part. Now, the other piece of it is that guitar lead you hear, I think, mainly during the song. And it takes some practice. It takes some ability to stretch with the fingers a little bit here. So I'm going to change the, I guess, the tone right now. Let's see how good this sounds. I'm not quite sure. This could be a train wreck. I don't know. Yeah, probably not exactly. Probably a little too dirty. Let's try something else here. A little bit better. Okay, so using those same 4 bass notes that we looked at, so really what's going to happen here is between your hand, these 2 fingers are going to be playing your bass notes. Your ring finger and your pinky are going to be stationary for the most part. Your ring finger is not moving off of the B string 3rd fret. And then your pinky is just going to kind of come in and out on the 4th fret of the same string. So it's going to basically be like this. So it's basically two bars. I guess it's bars. My theory isn't that great. So it's going to go. You're going to go from the G there to the B flat, to the C, to the E flat. So you're really interweaving in between those bass notes the melody right here, which is on the B string. And that's the melody and that bass line, basically. While, I guess on the cleaner channel, this is being played. Okay, so again, this is going to take some time, I think, because if you haven't really kind of done these types of stretches, it took me a while, and I still don't get it completely, but I understand where it is, but it's just to kind of play it, it takes some practice. So it's really not about speed on this one, just more about the accuracy. So if you need to, just little at a time. All right, then you move to the next one. And so on until you get through that whole progression. So, I mean, and again, that's the chorus that goes back into the verse, then back to the chorus. And then there's the piano solo where it's a bridge. And it's really, again, it's an F. We're holding the F. Future goes into, right? So he holds that. And then it's just another F, like an F major 7. And what makes that work so well is that open E. So it's an F. And then you can just kind of do that if you want. Just bring your finger down to the B string and leave the E open. That works. So that's really the bridge. It's 2 chords with the piano really on top of that for the most part. So again, you've got your verse. And then it goes into the chorus, which we just went over. G minor, B flat, C minor, E flat, and while it's being doubled up by this medley. So that's just more repetition, getting used to that as well. And then there's a solo. So I guess I'll go over that. I don't know it note for note. It's the key of that for the most part. So what I do for that is I'll put this into like a crunch setting. Let's just see. maybe give it a little more delay potentially here. Let's see. For the most part, that's how a decent tone, I guess, for that. I see the solo in a couple different sections. Again, all in the key of F. For the most part, there is one run in the solo where it lands on that D, which is the relative minor, which I think really adds some flavor to the solo. It's just the part of the solo that I just always seem to remember. But if we're going to go over the solo real quick, you're going to start on the F, on the 4th string, 3rd fret, right? And then you're going to go up to the 5th string on the 3rd fret, same string on the 5th fret, to the 6th string, 6th fret on the 5th string, and then walk it back down. And then a hammer from 3 to 5. And again, coming off the open to the open string. All right, so it's F. We're going to that 5th string. Back down. Hammer and a pull, and then a hammer and pull and a pull off to the open string. Now that on that piece, when it's a pull off to the open A, there's a bit of a dive with the bar. I'm not good at the bar, but it just kind of gives you an idea of the sound. So then we're going to come down to the 10th fret, which is basically the A shape of the F chord, basically. If you know your cage system, right? So that's an F right there, right? F. All you're going to do is you're going to slide into 10th fret on the D string, and then you just go right down the 10th fret to the B string. Those 3 notes. So, how's that go? Yeah, so do those 3 notes. 11, 10, up to 13 on the B string. Okay? Slide into 10 on the D string. 10 on the G, 10 on the B, 11 on the B, back to 10 on the B, 13 on the B. You're going to do a hammer and a pull from 11 to 13 on the B. Right? 13 on the E. Okay, and here's that part I was telling you about where you hear that relative minor. You're going to pull on the E string from 13 to 10. There's your minor, relative minor right there. Right? So what I'm doing there is pulling on that E string 13 to 10. And then 11 to 10. And then 11 to 13 on the B. And then back to that 10 and 11 on the E string. So it's I can't do it slow. Nope, not there. Hang on. Then you're going to go to the G string on your 10 and 8th fret. Back to the 10 on the G and just give it a little bit of a shake. Try to do it all together so it flows a little bit easier. And then it's going to be 8 and 10 on the B string, 8 and 10 on the E string, and then same thing in reverse, 10, 8. Just go right back up, and then you're going to do an 8 to a 10 hammer pull on the B string, slide up to the 6, and then basically come back down. Because now you're kind of in that F major scale at this point here. So he's just going to basically do a run all the way down to the 16th fret for the most part. So if I can get that, let's try it again. So again, the frets you're using here on the B string are your 6, your 8, your 10, 13, 15, 16. So that's where the run's going to be. Ooh. and then you're going to round that out with a hammer and a pull on 15 to 16 on the B string. And then this is how he comes out of the solo at this point. He's hitting on the 7th fret, the G. Just kind of, just give it like almost like a haunting type of sound. I give it a little bit of a pinch as well. And then you go 7th fret right up, one more string to the D. A little bit more to it. And then here's where it comes out. Again, I think another signature part of the solo on the B string. Just what we were playing before. 8, 6, open G, back to the E. So it's like this. So let me try to run through that. I mean, again, I'm not really good at kind of dissecting the solos here. This is like 80% there, but at least you kind of know general area of what you need to do. So if we did it from the top again. All right, so that's the one section there. You're going to slide up to 10. Right, get that bend. So, not one of the harder songs, not one of the easier songs. I think it's kind of just it's got a little bit of everything going on here. I think you've got more of the strings going on and the piano that sometimes take more of a front seat to the song, but still nonetheless, possibly one of my favorite songs they've ever put out. So again, comments below, let me know, if I missed something, if it wasn't clear. But again, as far as the intro and the verse, I'm just going to kind of, I'll change the tone again just to an F. I don't even know what this chord is, to be honest, but I just know, just from hearing it, you're just kind of moving that one finger to this, to the B flat. All right, to the F. Chorus, 4 chords. G minor, B flat, C minor, to an E flat, and that repeats. While that's going on, you've got the other guitar playing this. So it's that rhythm. Your melody doesn't change at all. It's just your bass line basically. To a G, B flat, to the C, to the E flat. All right. Ring finger, again, just keeping the position so it's easy to get to and from all these changes here. Ring finger, just anchor it on the B string 3rd fret. And then your pinky's going to come in and just play that melody note, basically. And then the bass notes just change. So again, these 2 fingers for your bass notes, these 2 for the melody, basically, okay? The bridge, 2 chords, an F. Again, I think this is an F major 7 because you got the E open. Okay? So that E note, or that note right there is really what makes what makes it sound really good. And the solo, which we just did, key of F. Go back and play it again. I think that's, for the most part, that's there. Just at the very end, there's a run in the F major scale, I guess it is. So you're just kind of coming down here, and then you're just going to give it a couple of bends, and then it just goes back to the chorus. And that's the song for the most part. So I'm hoping I did it some justice. I didn't really do a whole lot of planning for this one. I've just been playing it and figure, you know what, it was fresh in my mind, and if I didn't do it now, I probably wouldn't do it at all. So hopefully this was a big help. Again, questions, comments below. Any questions about maybe the settings I was using on the amp, and what I did for the most part. I used the acoustic setting for the verse, and then for the chorus, I kind of kept it, I guess it was on the same setting, but I gave it some more of an overdrive just on top of that. And then for the solo, I went with a crunch sound with the boost, with some chorus and a delay, just to kind of give it that bigger. That's really what I was aiming for with the solo. I mean, just have that big sound. I think that's what makes the solo itself. So it's the intro, and then coming out of it, I think, is key as well. I think those are some of the signature sounds on that solo. So give it a shot. Let me know what you think. If it works, great. If not, let me know. And maybe that'll be the last time I try to do something on the fly like that. But let me know your thoughts, and we'll see you soon on the next video, okay? Thanks.